Welcome back to another episode of Research and Rabbit Holes with your girl, Lauren Nicole. I am your cousin, sister, friend, and your friendly neighborhood librarian. Today, we're going to talk about books. Now, I know you all know what books are, but I want to go into a little bit of detail about the different types of books, the different genres, and how to navigate your way around the library so that when you go for a visit next, you know how to locate those materials. So I won't keep y'all long, but let's get ready to learn. Now let's start with format. There are 5 main formats that books tend to come in. You have your hardcover book, your paperback, your large print for those who need a little help in the vision department. Then you have your audiobooks and your ebooks. The primary difference between audiobooks and ebooks is that your audiobooks are books that you listen to. There is a narrator reading this book for you, and you are not necessarily following along in the text. Your ebooks, on the other hand, are books that you read in digital format, whether you're reading it on a Kindle, a computer, a phone, or any other mobile device or device rather. Some ebooks have screen readers that will read the text aloud to you. So it is possible to listen to an ebook if it has that capability. And there are some people who like to do both, where they will have either the physical or digital form of the text in front of them so that they can visually follow along while they are listening to the audiobook version. However you read a book is totally up to you. And there is some debate that listening to an audiobook is not the same as reading a book. I personally would beg to differ. If you have consumed the content of that book, in my opinion, you read it. So next up, we're talking types. There are 2 primary types of books, your fiction and your nonfiction. Now, your fiction books are going to be those that someone has written from their imagination. They had a story to tell, and they have created a world and characters and a theme. You get the point. Then the other one is nonfiction. It's going to be more of your real life information. It's going to be those things that are true. Some things are fact-based, not necessarily, but it's not imaginative. It's more realistic, right? And so then we have our genres. So there are several genres that fall under both of these categories. And so we're going to talk about a few of them today. So I'm going to list some of these here and just point out a few of the popular fiction genres, including your fantasy, sci-fi, horror, romance, right? These are things that we've seen all the time. We've heard of them, we've read them ourselves, but maybe we didn't think about what this is actually considered or classified as. And then you have your nonfiction books, which again, I'll post a list here, but these include your biographies, which are books written about someone by someone else. And then you have your autobiographies, which are books that people write about themselves. Auto means self. So if I write a book about my own life, I will have written an autobiography. These also include your self-help books, your true crime, and then things like science, business, and those kinds of things. Now, I do want to point out that there is a category that falls under fiction called historical fiction, where you have a story that might be loosely based on real events or real people, but it is considered fiction, maybe for different reasons that only the author could tell you. But that is something to keep in mind, that there may be a historical fiction novel that you read that seems eerily similar to real life events, okay? And then lastly, I want to talk about classification. Now, I'm sure if you've ever walked through a library, you've seen this combination of letters or numbers at the base of a book and kind of been like, what is this? right? These are called call numbers. Now, most public libraries still use the Dewey Decimal System, while some of your other institutions, like your academic libraries or your law libraries, they are operating on the Library of Congress classification system. Either way, just know that these are systems by which the subjects of the books are classified into primary categories and then subcategories. And so when these books are purchased and then cataloged and marked for where they will live in the library and where they will live on the shelf, they are given a classification number or a call number. All you have to remember is that a call number is essentially that book's address, and the other books in that address are of a similar subject matter. Okay, and so this is what you're looking at when you see LC 200.A27. Okay, that LC is going to stand for the primary category. The 200 is going to be the range of books of that similar primary category that book belongs within. And then the A27 is going to be that subcategory that book falls underneath. Okay, so I will try to find a very clear example of a call number here so that you can see what I mean by the breakdown of that. But just remember that regardless of what system your library is using, a call number is simply an address. So in most libraries, the end of your bookshelves will either have the name of the subjects listed. For example, it will say history to geography or something like that, or it will have the classification headings. So you may have AC 2000 to CD 3500 on the end of your cap. Okay. Once you have the call number of the item that you are looking for, then you would simply follow the address in pieces. If your call number says BC 300, it will fall between that AB and CD address. That will be the bookshelf that you need to go to begin looking for the book. You want to match up the letters. So go until you see the B's, right? Once you get to the C's, you've gone too far, and then you'll go by numbers. So once you get to the letter combination, then you'll go to the numbers. If you're following Library of Congress, if you are following simply numbers, then you would just go to the 200 section or the 300 section, right? Some libraries will have a poster that will show you whatever classification system they're using, and it'll show you each of the categories and subcategories. Most of the time, you can simply ask a librarian or a library assistant or associate for assistance in finding the material that you're looking for. But I would love for us all to know how to navigate library shelves, because it's really not as hard as it seems. So I do challenge you to go and find a book or two or three on your library shelves by searching for the call number of the book. You can go to whatever desk may be available and simply ask for the call number of a book that you're interested in. And then go and navigate the shelves to see if you can figure out how to find it. Once you do it a couple of times, it becomes easier. So I leave you today with a little bit more information about books, the formats that they come in, the different types of books, and how to find them on the shelf. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment. If you have any thoughts or comments, if you already know how to do this, give me a shout. Say, we know how to do this. And so I hope you all have a library card. And if not, I'm encouraging you to go and get a library card today, okay? Find out what your library system requires of you to get a library card, and we'll talk about that in a future video. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.